Bitcoin's alive, what you gon' do? Mempool fees are high. Ordinal. Where does it stop? Nobody knows. It's a revolution, ayy. Bitcoin is the one, no substitution, ayy. With shit seem to go be it's Ordinal revolution.
Welcome back to Ordinal Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire Bitcoin Ordinal ecosystem. What's up, guys? An amazing show for you guys today. Today, we're talking to Erik from Runes DEX. We have a great conversation with them. We had Victor on previously. He was on our live event with Arch. And we really want to break down exactly what they're building there, because if you're building here in Bitcoin, we want to be one of the first people to interview, to touch on it, to be educating the space on what you're doing, what you're building. But they're not stopping with just Runes DEX. They also have this really cool pump fund model that we're going to get into as well. Erik is new there, so it's going to be awesome experience to talk to him. Probably his first interview for Runes DEX, so I'm looking forward to that. So without further ado, let me bring in my partner here, as always, Mr. Iago B. What's up, buddy?
What's up? What's up,
man? So we had these guys on for Arch Thursdays. They're building Arch. They're building on Layer 1 Bitcoin. We're really excited for swapping and AMAs and everything they're bringing to the table here.
Yeah, AMMs.
AMMs.
Victor, and I would say Victor, at least, and probably most of his team, is probably the most Bitcoin developer experienced guy and team that we've talked to. He's worked in Lightning. He's worked with what is it? Is it RBG? He's worked in every facet or every area of the Bitcoin ecosystem. And now he came over to the Ordinals ecosystem and kind of what wants to be a part of what Arch is doing, which is going to bring this flexibility and this native Bitcoin feel for DeFi type of products. So super excited to see how these products roll out on Arch, and they're already operating, right? And so we can kind of dig into that as well.
100%. Let's bring in Erik, also known as Ord Deutscher, right? Is that right?
Oh, you're on mute.
Hi, that sounds right. Good to be here, guys. Sorry for that.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, man. So we want to dig into everything you're doing with Runes DEX, but kind of want to learn about you. If you can take us back to maybe some early journeys and kind of lead us up to your crypto journey.
Yeah, where to begin? How far back do you want me to go? Like post-college or anywhere close to Bitcoin?
Wherever you're most comfortable.
So my background is mainly in technology and marketing or branding. I've studied brand management, and I have finished an apprenticeship even before that in information technologies. And I've been coding since I'm 11. So it was kind of the entry for me into tech through code, like developing websites and stuff. And through my marketing career, I actually stumbled across Bitcoin the first time because there were a lot of wineries in Napa Valley by San Francisco. I was studying for my grad degree there, and they wanted to somehow update their product. So obviously you can't do much to wine, but they knew that their audience is literally dying. And the young people, especially in San Francisco and California, don't consume wine as the go-to drug. And so Bitcoin was like a really fun way for me back then to pitch to them and basically introduce a different means of back then the narrative was still on payment, to propose to new customers, to appeal to the young audience, and especially to Silicon Valley. So that was my first time crossing paths with Bitcoin, but it didn't stuck like classic. I think everybody has at least two touch points, one of them being rocked and the other one being the milestone for yourself. I was rocked by Waitcoin. I think I the classic scheme: send me Bitcoin so you get more Bitcoin back. But there was a website that promised, you basically deposit Bitcoin and we deploy hash rate and you get rewards. That didn't happen. That was 2015, and at that time I was busy working for a vegan supplement company. The name was Wundermittel. And I created a vegan protein supplement according to European regulations back then. And yeah, at the end of that journey, I was able to pitch Bitcoin to investors. And those investors were all like the age of my dad at this point, like 55, you know, it was like 2018. And I kind of convinced him to go into Bitcoin. And then he also a few investors I told about Bitcoin. And then I was able to put up like a few small workshops where I informed people. And from that, I had a lot of interest into Bitcoin, but there wasn't like yet enough education for boomers or anyone really to take self-custody. So from 2018 to 2021, pretty much, I did only that. You know, Bitcoin best practice, educating boomers, so basically where the money is. And when Germany became more oppressive with the politics, my wife, who's American, I got to meet her in 2017 in Hamburg. And we tried to make it work in Germany, but you know, politics there were getting worse. And in 22, we decided to try it in the US. And since I was already on the Bitcoin track, we were able to score jobs here in Nashville in America. And it's amazing ever since then. I have to say, Nashville is such a Bitcoin hub. We didn't know when we came here, other than the BTC Inc. headquarters being here, we didn't know that there's so much happening with the meetups, which led to Bitcoin Park, and so much happening other than that, even in BTC Inc. Right? We have the Bitcoin Museum here now. Before that, we had the Bitcoin Art Gallery, the Bitcoin Store. We have, I go every week, I go to my rancher and pay him with Bitcoin for my meat. That has been a thing. Like second week after our arrival here, a friend of mine invited us, and from then on, you know, everybody's just talking about Bitcoin, and we have everywhere you meet people, it's like a little meetup, you know, because that's the topic.
Yeah. So it makes a bit more sense why Bitcoin Magazine had the conference there in 2024, because I was like, okay, I heard Nashville's fun, you know, so that's probably why they do it, which is true.
Yeah.
You know, the bars and stuff, but I didn't realize there was so much Bitcoin kind of culture there. You know, we went obviously for the show. We had the media passes there, and then went to the meetups and stuff afterwards. But so there's regular meetups in Nashville. You're saying like on a weekly basis?
Yeah, we have weekly basis meetups here in Nashville. There are plenty. I mean, we even have stuff like the Vanderbilt Blockchain Club, because I didn't know that either, but Nashville is considered the Athens of the South because there's so many universities here.
Yeah.
And it's just something, obviously, Bitcoin is the future. The future are the students and the children, so they gravitate to that. And, you know, the Bitcoin meetings, the Bitcoin Park and BTC Inc. really did well over the last years here by building up these communities. I mean, Bitcoin Park still has, I think, a monthly meetup that's free for everyone to attend. Then they obviously sell memberships, so there are more things happening that I'm not even aware of. But they also have, I think every quarter now, a little meetup. They had the mining summit, the lightning summit, and grassroots summit, I think. So you have basically vendors, and you have all the technologists. Yeah, the mining summit was amazing. So yeah, Nashville is cooking. And I'm just glad we made the move to the South, which is usually not something you consider. Like, I don't know if that's something, like as a tourist, as a German, you know, it's rare that you hear anything but California or Florida. So
True.
It was kind of jumping into the cold water, and you know, I just love it here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And because my wife and we got jobs with BTC Inc., you know, the rabbit hole just got deeper and deeper and deeper. I've been to a lot of conferences since 22. We're lucky even to go to Bitcoin Atlantis last year. That was a big one for us. Yeah, I was able because it's just a hot pot here, I was able to meet Casey Rodamore in 2023. And at that time, I just got FTX'd from the team at Bitcoin Magazine. I think it was October. And then in January, I was basically back on board because Ordinals was cooking, and I was basically in the warehouse with Casey, and he explained to me his infrastructure and stuff. And we spun up ordinals.bitcoinmagazine.com, which is not live anymore because it's bad. These explorers are bad for SEO, and mainly it's a magazine. So yeah, that was January 2023, and then since then I got so involved with Ordinals that that's what I've been doing. Plus, we have been doing like A business partner right now, still of mine, is Tommy. I don't know if you know him. He's the painter of the Bitcoin War Bonds painting. A lot of people know it. And with him, I founded Satoshi House Auctions, which is basically just something we do on the side. It's like one drop monthly, and we're not just doing art on Bitcoin, but also Bitcoin art.
Love it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and today I'm product director for Runes DEX and Big Fun at Runes DEX or for Boosty Labs, and I'm so glad to be here.
Oh yeah, man, that's awesome. Let's kind of get into Rune DEX and like, you know, what I want to know why you chose Runes DEX. You know what I mean, and kind of what they're building here.
So Runes DEX to me is the most Bitcoin native approach to something like liquidity pools and the swaps we offer right now. We are not using, for example, like a different layer. We are not using ICP or anything other than the native Bitcoin tools we have. You know, so we were able to basically build a UTXO based set of tools that operates on chain and enables the user to do swaps. You know, like I think within one transaction right now, you are able to send and receive your runes. You know, the biggest pool right now is Dog, so that's one where we are probably outperforming .swap on the price too. And you know, the greater the pools, the greater the TVL, the better our AMM is able to make a market for the user, right?
Yeah, so, and we know with DEX is like, you know, you can have the best DEX in the world, but if you don't have liquidity, no one's going to use it, right? And that's something that you guys have. I mean, you have sitting $288,000 in Dog right now, in Dog liquidity. That's huge, especially now that Dog's sitting under $300 million, right? So as Dog goes up, your liquidity obviously goes up as well. So that's a lot, man. It's a big deal.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys are using any of the integrations that are available today with Runes DEX. That's what we are trying to do right now. We're trying to put our product where the user is already. A little bit funny because Leonardus was just saying that, put the buy buttons in front of people. We're trying to put the swap, the Runes DEX swap in front of people, meet them where they're at or where they are. For example, Xverse wallet is one of the most recent integrations. You are able to go on your Xverse wallet, press swap, you know, choose Bitcoin and the rune you want, enter the amount of Bitcoin you want to exchange, and Xverse presents you then a list of, you know, exchanges like Runes DEX and also the classic marketplaces like Magic Eden or Unisat. So you're able to see, where do I get the lowest price? And currently, we also integrated our reward system with Xverse. So if you swap on Xverse, you're also getting, I think, 1 point per dollar. And when you spend $1 million per swap, I think you get 1,000 points plus 50% boost. And the rewards are, they will be used for a future token generation event, and also makes users like viable for airdrops. So it's I think we're modeling it pretty much, you know, after the models we have seen on other chains. Like you have been talking about ME this morning a lot. So I think that is something we want to replicate on Runes. And right now we're using the reward system to track the usage, you know.
Wow.
So we're able to reward our customers.
Gotcha. So, you know, Runes DEX definitely looks sleek. Like I mentioned in the intro, you know, Victor and the team has that extensive like Bitcoin building background. In one area that they are going to kind of extend to, I guess, maybe have like a little bit of a scaling approach is with Arch Network. I'm not sure if you know any of what that is going to be like, but do you know of any reasons why they chose Arch to use as like the scaling solution?
I think we're looking into many ways to scale our product. Of course, the most important, as you mentioned, is the TVL, the amount of users you're available to. And other than that, of course, Arch would be a nice solution. I mean, I'm actually not aware of another Bitcoin native solution that comes with like the ZK rollups and like VM compatibility. So I think Arch Network just offers something on Bitcoin, right, for Bitcoiners. And I mean, in the end, all this is to support hyper Bitcoinization, right? we're trying to open the doors to let all the traffic in and explain to them what's the difference between a Rune community and a Solana community, right? Something that lasts forever and something that lasts for the day. And currently, right? I mean, you have spoken about that earlier too. If you're not in the pump, you're in the dump on Solana. And I think what we're trying to do is we are trying to highlight how communities on Bitcoin are built different, and we're inviting everyone to the table.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. You know, if you compare communities, you can't even compare them because like there's not really a community, even with the big meme coins on Solana anymore. They've gone through this like hyper pump and dump kind of practice, right? And so on Bitcoin, the communities, they grow strong, they, you know, support each other. And so I do see why you guys did pick Arch to scale, because they do have that option to, like you said, roll the transactions, have them finalized on Bitcoin, so they are still kind of in that, you know, security reward mechanism, right? So they're still practicing with, you know, the fundamentals of Bitcoin. So that's awesome. Is that something that you guys are in testnet yet, or you I know you're newer there, and so you're getting kind of comfortable, but do you know if they're in the Arch testnet, or I'm not sure if you have any information about that?
I think the most information I have on that is that we are trying right now. We are looking into multiple ways to scale, where Arch is definitely one of the favorites. We are also looking into other technologies. So I can't really speak on, you know, how far the development is on that, because
Gotcha.
we are also really concentrating right now on like connecting to the communities out there, explaining our product to them, you know. You talked earlier about Liquidium and staking Ordinals, and there are just some ways that are more apparent to the current user base than others. So we want to educate right now by connecting to communities, onboarding the users, and like showing them the value of holding a Bitcoin meme coin or Rune, you know. And then also we're upgrading the infrastructure in the background. So you can see we're trying to always move one step ahead while also planning for the next 5. And that's why we are basically just right now definitely only in a testing phase with Arch Network.
Gotcha.
Man, that's awesome. What's your duties now? Obviously, you've been working there since you said last Monday.
Last Monday, yeah. I started on Monday. Yeah. I'm still getting to know some of my duties, but as a product director, I see myself operating interdisciplinary between marketing and the developers and the user. So I'm kind of listening to the users and the communities about the features that they are using, that they want to use, you know, the tools we can provide communities with. Like I said, meet them where they are, like which wallets are they using? Are they all on Xverse? Is it all mobile? Is it, do they like the desktop solutions, you know? So I'm doing a lot of market research. I'm interpreting that research for the developers and for marketing, you know, and I'm trying to put it all together nicely.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's awesome. What was your first experience with Victor? Because like my first experience with him was I just thought he was amazing. Like when we started talking, we had him on Arch Thursdays, and it was just kind of blown away just by his experience and you know, his intelligence, and the fact that he could lean a little maxi, but he's playing in our space. He's okay with runes and everything else that we're building here on layer 1.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I have to admit, I met him for a maximum of 1 hour. Since I'm working for them, and also like I have never seen him in the interview process, but it makes sense. He's so busy as CEO of Runes DEX and Boosty Labs too. And as you said, I think he's in the space for more than 8 years now. He has been developing all these technologies, and it's really interesting to see someone that groks all these technologies and just maintains his Bitcoin focus, but is aware that, you know, we need to unite them to get them on Bitcoin or into the right direction, you know?
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. And one of the things that stuck out to me whenever we had him on the show was, yes, definitely the maximal, you can see that, like, you know, energy that he has, but he went through all the struggles of building in different areas and realized that he actually said this quote, you can have the most innovative tech, but without community, it's shit, or something like that. Remember, like he was basically like, it doesn't matter. And I think that's the biggest, like, most important realization that like a laser eye needs to have, is that like you can say like Bitcoin is the hardest asset, and we all agree that are like in the space, whether we're more open to innovation or not as open to it, we all agree that Bitcoin is the hardest asset, right, in the world. But I think the ones that are more open to innovation, or I guess to what success, start to realize that yes, the tech and the security, all that stuff, but if you don't have the community, you don't have much, right? And so that was really awesome. You personally, I feel like you have also, I can kind of read that, like you really appreciate the fundamentals of Bitcoin. How did you, respond initially with like, having these ordinals and fungible tokens, BRC20s and runes on Bitcoin? Were you like, ugh, like the art's cool, the tokens are not, or were you kind of like, I'm open to everything?
I gotta admit, I was pretty much coming from the maxi and laser eyes camp. It's hard to to grok the narrative of Bitcoin as a store of value and understand that, okay, to make Bitcoin a thing, we need to have a successful store of value before we can have a medium of exchange. And obviously, there's so much education in this matter that it's hard for you to understand that the time chain, the only blockchain that matters, is actually something that will carry all of the information in the world. It is not meant to only keep the easy triple entry is already a revolution, but the triple entry bookkeeping is not its ultimate destination. Like I think I was able to see pretty early, because I was connected here. I was able to speak to Casey Rodamore, my friend Young Gucci T on Twitter, the creator of the War Bonds painting. He is a big counterparty guy. He's always been trying to cook my brain with the counterparty stuff. And I've never understood counterparty back in the day, because of the whole, I'm coming from the Bitcoin camp. My biggest smart contract idea is a Lightning channel. So I didn't really grok the dispenser send me $60 and get the op return message, which you can track in your free wallet. Because it's not centralized, because obviously everybody could run the indexer, but it's hard to access because there are few wallets that
support
use it. And yes, exactly. And honestly, running the Ordinals indexer to me was like second nature. It felt like putting a map on the blockchain. So now you're able to see all this different information, and it was eye-opening. But I didn't have that with counterparty and the XCP token. And there are many parts to counterparty that just didn't make sense to me before I grokked Ordinals. But I was able to grok it. I think my first Ordinal, I'm not even sure anymore if the first one was an Astral Babe or a Bitcoin Frog. But that happened so quick in February, March, and April that, I was definitely on there. I still hold an Astral chat, and I love the idea, of course, to use Lightning in the Rune space. I know that DZ was really promoting that, but somehow it didn't really take a hold in the community.
Yeah, but now we got Tether building back over on Lightning, right? So I mean that's a big deal, and that if we can get runes and over there as well, I mean, who knows what that could lead to. So I'm definitely getting more interested in Lightning. Never been a huge fan of it, but lately it's something to definitely start paying attention to.
Okay, what like only because of the runes you kind of start to change your perspective on Lightning?
Yeah, I'm a degen, right? Like it's like I'm okay with with using other chains and stuff like that for fast trading, especially USDT and stuff like that. But like when it comes to degenning into runes and stuff like that, and stuff where I can make potentially 100x on and stuff like that. That's stuff I want to hold. But the whole point at the end of the game is to get more sats, right? Like I hold dog at the end of the day to make as much sats as I can to put that the Bitcoin to set myself up for financial freedom, right? I think it's everyone's chasing that one thing, and we all know that Bitcoin is the key to that. So getting more sats at the end of the day is where I want to be. But for me, it was never really about peer to peer.
Okay, yeah, I can appreciate that. And Lightning
Yeah.
also has these other challenges about custody and the nodes where they're running and stuff, right? It's decentralized, but it's very attack worthy. Like, let's say that's why the government was a little bit like they banned Wallet of Satoshi basically, even though they decided to leave the regulations in place, make business not worthy. And I talked to some Lightning people, and the question on Lightning with tokens and ordinals to them is the question of custody, right? Because if it's in a channel, it's sitting between two peers. So until the channel closes and the ordinals or runes get distributed, it's
just a bunch of atomic swaps. I feel like,
it should technically, but legally. The issue we have is obviously the legal system, right?
Yeah. Well, it's getting fixed, hopefully. I mean, now we got actual proper regulations coming with David Sachs, and we got, a crypto-friendly president who ran on crypto, and we got him in there, right, as people who are in crypto. So we'll see what happens with that. But let's get kind of dig into Runes DEX. So every DEX, I say my opinion, needs a launchpad. And you guys have that, right? You guys have something really cool coming. It's called Big.Fun. I was wondering if you can kind of tell us what exactly this is.
So Big.Fun is our parallel to Pump.Fun. Obviously, we're trying to keep an ear on the market and hear what the people are demanding. And the talks on Twitter have been about the user experience when minting runes. That the 6 blocks it takes to etch something, that sometimes you have blocks that don't last 10 minutes only. You have blocks that last 40 minutes, and all these things that get between you and your trade and you and your mint, we are trying to abstract with Big.Fun. What we're doing with this is also adding to our ecosystem. The idea is that you can go to Big.Fun. You can use the built-in wallet and basically deposit some of your Bitcoin into the Big.Fun wallet that is also connected to yours, but we need an extra balance in order to facilitate lightning fast transactions. And once you have deposited, a few sats, you're able to basically mint and buy and sell tokens. And how we abstract that is that the etching happens only when it reaches a certain market cap. So I think you have mentioned Odin.Fun.
Yeah.
And I think that they're doing it a little different from how we're doing it, where we are like etching the runes when the market cap is reached. And we are obviously, like Runes DEX, Bitcoin native. So everything we do here happens on Bitcoin.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I think that's an advantage that you have a DEX already, right? So you can send the liquidity directly to Runes DEX and start trading right away. So, with this kind of with this kind of like approach of people trying to have these tools ready, how do you guys position yourself, do you think, to compete, right? Because like you mentioned, there's I think like one other right now that has the same model, and then like when Arch opens, it's gonna be you guys, and then there's another one on there. So like what do you think is the best approach to kind of compete with a product like this?
The Pump.Fun product, or
the Pump.Fun product.
I mean, we're doing it by offering a parallel memes economy on Bitcoin with Big.Fun, right? We're basically saying BTC-Fi is here. You are able to use Big.Fun to etch your rune and get a community excitement. Either you can decide to etch them now or etch it a little later to see if the community responds well. And if they do, and the market cap you set up in the beginning is reached, we are immediately able to obviously airdrop it into the wallets that have been minting it and buying it on our platform, and also use the LP on Runes DEX immediately to guarantee that there's all the liquidity and all the users necessary to really get the token out there, right? Gotcha. So you don't have the issue about like rune splitting from the beginning. You don't have Magic Eden is trying to counter that with their current fix of the like below $1,000 thing, but it still leaves you with all the transactions and all the fees you have to pay to split them. And let's hope everything goes well, and then you get them split, and then the value goes up as it should, and then it's too big to list there. So we solve this with Runes DEX, right? You're able to deposit your amount of runes, whatever you choose, with the amount of Bitcoin on Runes DEX. You're able to trade one dog if you like to, and if you put down liquidity in the pool, whoever buys, you earn a little of the fee with us.
Yeah, and that's the most attractive part, is that dog is the most popular. I said that there was like $20,000 of volume recently. So out of that 20,000, it gets split up for liquidity provider. So you actually earn an LP token, is what I'm imagining here. That's going to be split, the dog and Bitcoin that you put up for liquidity. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right. Because we are an automated market maker, we are only trading against the pool. So we need to have the value in Bitcoin and the value in token from you.
Love it. Everybody loves to earn Bitcoin, so.
I have to say, I've been using the product, and I like I'm a pups guy. I'm a puppet on Twitter. I'm a puppet person, and I just love it. I go there, I check my rewards. I think I've 1 week and I made like 5,000 pups.
Oh wow!
I was like, okay, that's unbelievable. So I don't know why I haven't been doing this all along, right? Especially in a bear market.
Yeah, which it does feel like we're in, right? For sure.
Yeah, it's somehow a bull for spot Bitcoin, but it's for all the assets right now, it's a bear.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, because no one, kind of what we talked about on the show today. It's kind of no one wants to give up their Bitcoin right now. Bitcoin seems to be the most coveted asset in the world, and people just don't want to take anything right now. But let's just see what happens when Bitcoin gets to 300K, 400K, places where I think it's going to go within the next 12 months, and then let's see if they're going to feel really rich, right? Especially people who held Bitcoin all this time. They might be getting ready to degen into some runes or some puppets or ordinals and stuff like that. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, unless you can earn,
unless
you can earn more Bitcoin. If you can earn more Bitcoin right now, that might be. But I do get it, like with the impermanent losses and stuff like that, especially with the alt, the alt markets and the Bitcoin layer 1 assets aren't necessarily thriving at the moment. So that's probably, you're right. They'll stick to that. But you said you're a pups person, so that means that you're a crazy person, because pups community is crazy. So,
I always say that's where the Bitcoin grid comes from. Yeah.
So I just got a few questions, and I'm not sure if you dug deep enough yet. But so basically when I deposit into here, for instance, where am I depositing to, and what are you guys using for the back end of this? Because obviously it's not Bitcoin layer 1.
Well, I'm not 100% sure, but I know that we are partially using Lightning in the back, so to enable this, and we're basically just locking up Bitcoin when you send them to the system. So it's a hybrid solution that we're running right now. But I mean, if you consider Lightning layer 2, then I guess you're right.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think Lightning's the only real layer 2. I mean, some people might say that Liquid that Adam Back is building is also a layer 2, but that the only real layer 2s right now. We do have side chains like Merlin and Bob and all these other ones, but I mean, the only real layer 2 right now, I guess, would be Lightning, right?
I mean, only one that is using Bitcoin the way it was, back in 2017. Let's say it this way. I mean, Liquid is cool. It's just different from Lightning because Lightning is it's obviously you're able to run it self-custodially. I'm not sure if you can run a Liquid node, but you definitely don't have the keys for the what is it, a federation? I think Liquid is a federation.
Yeah,
of 116 keys or something.
I'm still digging into it. It's a lot. Adam Back is he's a genius for sure, but their paperwork is tough to get through for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm digging deep as we speak. So
well, I mean, I feel like you guys are one of the only applications within our ecosystem that utilizes Lightning in the back end. So that's definitely puts you in a separate category. Like everybody that if they're something like Dot Swap is utilizing an MPC wallet, and they're doing a lot of things more manually, is my understanding. But I think people are waiting for these TEE, like trusted execution environments, to like Arch or like ICP or something, to be able to make it as native as possible with like the computation that's needed for an AMM. But like that's cool that you guys are using Lightning, because no one else is doing it right now. So that's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, that's why like I said, we're trying to look into multiple solutions for the scaling problem. Would be great if it's something like Lightning, but yeah, I also love the Arch network approach, because obviously that's all about the new tech, right? Like proof a statement is valid with only the statement and all that would probably take us to a whole different plane.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, man. So is there anything that we might have missed out on? Anything with Runes DEX that maybe you want to get into?
What is your guys' idea of art on Bitcoin? Because you have been talking about the Bitcoin spot value going to 300 and 400K. And I personally, always struggle with the thought of, so I'm only looking at Bitcoin assets through the Bitcoin lens. I'm not looking at the dollar price ever, because I think it's misleading. I bought a puppet for 15 million, and at 60K, that was 9,000. And if I would spend 9 million today, it would also be 9,000. But obviously I would lose 6 million sats. So I never try to look at the art that I own through the dollar lens. I try to look through it, to edit with the sats lens. And I'm just interested in what you guys think most people, how they're using that and how they're looking at it.
Yeah. I'll go first real quick, because I'll be the first to admit that the ordinals, especially the blue chips, didn't correlate with Bitcoin's price action the way I thought it would. But I started to change my perception on that, realizing that this is mostly institutional, capital that was propping it up, and then retail started to kind of prop it up. But I think eventually it does correct, and I think it hard corrects from maybe not the crazy 3 Bitcoin floors and stuff like that right away, but I think if Bitcoin is at $300,000, I still think that it corrects from a stats perspective, but not what I initially thought it would correlate with, right? Like, so for example, I had node monks at multiple Bitcoin, or puppets at 1.5 Bitcoin. Maybe that still happens. Like at peak, everybody has money, everybody's going crazy. In that situation, to where they're worth 1 Bitcoin, which is 300K or something like that. I just don't know if we get that 2021 environment of NFTs like we did. That was oversaturated of cash. Cash was oversaturated in 2021, right? It was circulated everywhere. And so you had the $1 million apes, you had the multi-million-dollar punks. I don't know if we get that, but I do think we get a 10,000 collection with at least a 1 Bitcoin floor this cycle.
Yeah, man.
Well, I hope it's puppets.
Well, for me, I'm a big believer in Plan B's, the stock to flow. A lot of people say it's misleading, it's off. I think that we're going to see something like this, and by seeing this, we're potentially seeing 700K Bitcoin by the end of mid next year. So we'll say, right? But if that happens, and we do get $700,000 Bitcoin, in my opinion, what's going to happen is it's going to be really expensive to mint anything. Because it's almost going to be way too expensive to mint a 10,000 PFP collection. So what that's going to do, the collections that are here now, they're going to look at as jewelry on gold, right? It's going to be oh, wow, you have a puppet. So in my opinion, for the time being, the next 6, 8, 9 months, I think a lot of these ordinals and stuff, especially with the mint pool being so low right now, they're going to look at as trash. But in a year from now, I think they're all going to be looked at as jewelry to Bitcoin's gold, and be like, holy crap, I can't believe you had one of those. And I'm talking potentially, down the line, you might see a node monkey whose inscription number is, some of them are below 100,000. That is looked at as, potentially as art. But as collectors come in, there's only 10,000. There'll only ever be 10,000. There's going to be a lot of rich people, a lot of millionaires in Bitcoin that potentially want Bitcoin layer 1 assets. And I think that these early PFP collections, they're going to be looked at as a lot more than just what we see them as today.
Oh, that's nice. So you're talking and bringing in providence too, which is interesting because I'm always trying to build a parallel between not only art on Bitcoin, but also Bitcoin art and the fiat art we have. Obviously, the fiat art market is interesting to look at when you think of the Mona Lisa or whatever, right? It never went for less dollars. So, and I kind of believe that there, like you, that there is art on Bitcoin that will age the same way, but on a Bitcoin standard, right? That's why I'm trying to look at it only through the Sats lens, because it must always be more Sats I receive for something that's called art. So like I always try to reason, right? Okay, in fiat it's also inflation. Bitcoin, we're deflationary. Then Bitcoin as a store of value removes monetary premiums, like from gold or housing, right? It won't be, houses won't have a monetary premium like they have right now on the Bitcoin standard, because obviously Bitcoin is the store of value and not like your second or third house that you need to maintain. But 100%. Art, I think, is different, because the only purpose of art is to be art. So I don't think there's a monetary premium to remove, because that's all it is.
100%.
So I don't, or I have never sold an Ordinal below the sad amount that I paid for it.
That's smart.
And
yeah,
that's how you should do it. Honestly, if you have that conviction in Bitcoin, you should just look at it in Sats. But I know if you're looking at it in Sats right now, there's a lot of people crying though, because the Sats were higher for Ordinals last year.
Just don't sell, right? Just don't sell until it gets back to your Sat mark. So, but we'll see.
I mean, we always say don't spend what don't put into Bitcoin what you're not ready to lose. Don't put into any derivative of Bitcoin what you can't lose. Don't put into it what you think money you need in 30 days to pay your rent. That's probably not well invested in even a puppet or a node monk, So this is Bitcoin. It's here to stay. You mentioned an important piece about the fees going up again, and right now also being a good situation to inscribe art, like artists do, right? Viva la Vandal, Billy Reste. I'm happy to see that they're all using this moment to inscribe art. And
I mean,
I think you're totally correct. Yeah, I think you're just totally correct about your approach there. And that with increasing fees, I also think the value of the information has to justify that cost, right? And if you think about Bitcoin not only as the place for ordinal art and information or runes, right? But blueprints to build something, blueprints of like text, scripts, scrolls, the Library of Alexandria that we lost hypothetically or in a flood, we don't know. But it would be great to have like enough blockchain copies so we can always restart where we left off, no matter what happens.
Yeah. Hopefully we won't go through that again. But looks like we have Sats Terminal, which you guys have partnered with down below. So are you guys okay to bring Psyclops up?
Yes.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it. Cyclops, welcome to Ordinal Revolution. Congratulations on the partnership between Sats Terminal and Runes DEX. But if you wouldn't mind just kind of introducing yourself and what your role is with Sats Terminal.
Sure. My name is, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Great.
I'm Psyclops, and I'm the CMO of Sats Terminal.
Awesome. Could you talk a little bit about what Sats Terminal is to the audience that might not know, and what it brings to the Bitcoin ecosystem?
Sure. So for Runes, basically we aim to be we're basically modeled after like 1inch or Dex Hunter or Jupiter for Runes and Bitcoin assets. So when you buy right now, there's a whole bunch of different marketplaces, and it's we're what's called a DEX aggregator. So when you buy Runes, there's a whole bunch of marketplaces to choose from. What we do is, and as you can see on the screen, is if you buy, you need to connect your wallet, but you can buy any rune and it will automatically shop all the marketplaces to get you the best deal.
Gotcha.
That's the most simple explanation.
Yeah. So are these marketplaces exclusive to like Bitcoin native only, or are you guys opening up to like scaled solutions that might be have synthetic runes on there as well? What's your approach to that?
Yeah, so long term, we can definitely go onto all of the new meta protocols and sidechains. It's just a matter of prioritizing because we're just starting. So we're like, why don't we start with the layer ones? And as this grows up, we have new meta protocols on like ICP, GlitterFi, um, Near is one, Blythe. And so as these things kind of start to mature, they're going to start having their own training experiences for runes, and we will start moving into them as that grows, for sure.
Yeah. This makes me really bullish because there's people that have lost some faith in runes and the Bitcoin layer 1 asset classes recently, and I think it's just they're not realizing the entire crypto industry is getting hit right now, but it's always what have you done for me lately. And so because of that, like they don't do enough research to realize that something like Stats Terminal exists, and the more sources that you guys can pull from and aggregate from, the more liquidity that means, right? And so it's going to help the overall ecosystem. So this makes me really, really bullish. Could you talk about what the partnership between Sats Terminal and Runes DEX is going to look like?
Sure. So Runes DEX is one of the DEXs that we're going to be aggregating from. And I think what a lot of people don't really know is, so I think they got confused by the runes minting model, which was, you're minting these runes and it almost looked like it was a token sale at that time, but it wasn't. You were literally just minting the rune and none of the liquidity went to the projects. But like people would get sniped in that process and they would lose money. So it wasn't a good trading experience. And then you would see the trading as an order book that was, primarily on like OKX, Unisat, and Magic Eden. And I think to them, it was like, this is illiquid. And, like I've been in the space a while. So I knew that this was like the early beginnings of an ecosystem. And we don't have LPs yet, especially because UTXOs are very hard to have that on. So as the tech started to grow, it's like, okay, well, that narrative is now changing and people still believe the old narrative. And so, you have dot swap, you have Runes DEX. And at first, these DEXs are going to have little liquidity. And it's really important for someone like us to be an aggregator of that, to make it a very seamless trading experience. And also to enable sells, which is coming very soon. So we're like very excited to be working with Runes DEX, as well as the other DEXs that are LPs, to be able to, like, for people to sell their runes, because a lot of them say that they can't exit, and that's just not really true. It's just we didn't have the tech built up, and so as this gets built up, as you start seeing lending protocols come online, and as you see, they have like a pump fund of their own too, as these ways to actually like properly start a project with an LP pool. Like I think it all comes back. Like I've literally seen this play out in like Solana, Cardano, like tail end of ETH. And it's like it's once that starts coming, and SUI, it's like once you get like an aggregator, once you have liquidity that can flow easily, and for people to like automatically have that arbitrage opportunity, because that's kind of like what a DEX aggregator fills. It's like then everything starts to just get smoother and like people get bullish on it.
Yeah.
Wow.
100%. That's amazing. So
Yeah.
we actually talked Sats Terminal probably a few months ago, and that was my first question. I was like, how are you guys going to sell? And now it kind of makes a lot of sense because you're partnering with Runes DEX and stuff like that. So that way, because originally you guys were just doing OKX and Magic Eden, and obviously it's great places to buy. But when you're selling in a DEX type of form, it doesn't work that way. But now if you guys add in the power of Runes DEX, the power of Odin Swap, and dot swap as well, and then you're finding the people the best liquidity pools for the best prices, that's a game changer, especially as a user who doesn't really want to care where I buy or where I sell. I just want my asset for the best price.
Yeah, like when you come to an ecosystem, so let's say that there are people who are playing on BNB, Solana, and like they haven't gone to Bitcoin, they're just going to expect to be able to just buy like $10 worth, $50 worth, and it's like you just couldn't do that before. And if you did, it was also like you had to do deposits, and so like our way kind of just allows you to have a DEX experience to hit all those those DEXs. So it's like for us, it's just I just think of us as like almost like a marketing UX for all DEXs out there.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this, because like the evolution is apparent now. Like Shizzy said, started with the traditional model of way to trade fungibles on Bitcoin layer 1. Then you got stuff like Runes DEX, Swap, and I'm sure you guys are going to scale to like Saturn, whatever, with this new initiative that Leonidas put out there, being everywhere. That's actually works in your favor big time. Does the original traditional way of trading runes, are those marketplaces going to get less and less volume as you guys as people are looking to get in and out? Do you feel like?
I think in many ways the opposite. So there's always going to be competition amongst the DEXs, but right now the liquidity was so fragmented that it became a ghost town for runes. Because just in those early days, it's like you don't have LPs, especially before you start having LPs. It's like it's just nobody likes to trade there, and it's not specific to Bitcoin. It's literally every new ecosystem just starts out that way. And so once you just have like once you just have that trading experience, just like really, really user friendly, it just makes it easier, and so people can just go there and just buy. And like we also built out our tech so that we can branch out as widgets. So like people can customize it to whatever design they want. They can make custom backgrounds. And that allows them to also just set it to their rune. Because I used to run a rune. I mean, I still run it. It's Cats and the Sats. It's like you can make a customized widget so that like they can only just buy your rune on their site and it fits your whole design. And so like things like that, I think just make it more accessible, because I think it's really just being able to get all that tech in front of everyone. And so we're on Liquidium right now. If you even go to like runes.com, you can see our widget there, which I think that they're a charting site like that allows people to use charts in a very DEX screener type of way and be able to trade based off of that.
Gotcha. So it's like in a way to incentivize, websites necessarily that are relative to the space. And hey, you can also maybe earn a little share or something if you have a swap that's customized. Is that the approach?
Yeah. So if you don't even have to hit the swap. If you click on any one of those runes, I think they're just such a new page that like not a lot of people are aware of it because it's a down market. But you basically have the whole charting with the ability to buy.
Gotcha.
And so like
you guys are the swap.
Yeah, we're the swap. So if you look at that, we can change our UI to match anything. And it's a very easy user interface. And so
that's awesome.
This is really, and then on top of that, if you connect your wallet, you'll see it like a points program. I think you have to attach to the widget.
Oh, to the widget itself?
Yeah, like that's going to be for their site.
Okay,
but it might be. Let's see if that works.
Right here. Okay, I got you.
And so we're also on Liquidiums because when you fulfill loans, like to be able to trade that right away is very strong. So like if you connect anywhere there, I think what also people don't realize is Runes DEX. Oh, was the button not working?
Not today.
Okay.
It could be because my connection is low because it's streaming, but
yeah,
gotcha. So we have I mean, if you go to Liquidium, it's the same deal, but basically on any widget, on our page, on any other integration, you can see our points program, which is Amber points. And so like so if somebody trades through us, you're going to get Amber points. You're also going to get, and if the swap routes through Runes DEX, like you're going to get their points. If it goes through
double points.
Double points.
Love it, love it.
And if you go through Liquidium, who's one of our great partners, they get a 50% boost. So like if you go to Liquidium, they're going to have the same type of widget in their own UI, and you'll get 50% more points going through there.
Let's say that like I want to add LP to like one of your partners like Runes DEX. I couldn't do that through you guys. I would have to go directly to them, right?
Yeah, as of right now, that's not available.
Possible. Okay. Okay. Gotcha. All right. So I really love what you guys are doing. Initially, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of in the same mindset as Shizzy, as like, okay, you can go into a room, but you can't come out. That doesn't sound very attractive. But it's more of the evolution of the tech, catching up as well to where you guys are offering that initially. Now LPs are coming in like Runes DEX. That gives me a quick in and out if I want to, once you guys add the sell button. And there's going to be more liquidity pools too. So it's the network as a whole for the Runes network's liquidity is going to grow. Erik, I want to ask you, how do you feel like Runes DEX can benefit through this, just by bringing more foot traffic, if you will, to Runes DEX through Sats Terminal? Or maybe if you could speak on that.
Yes, as a DEX aggregator, like Psyclops said, I think we benefit greatly from being one of the LPs and providers to that swap. Offering more users our product, like I said, meet the user where they're already using the product. I'm not so sure about where Sats Terminal main traffic comes from, but I personally think it's a great desktop website. I could understand that, a lot of desktop users gravitate to this solution, while X versus mobile might be like a different kind of solution, So I think we really need to go everywhere the user wants us to be in order to increase LP and TVL on our platform, and hence also offer the user better prices for their rooms.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I was just thinking about it too, because like when someone uses the Sats Terminal widget and they're not a liquidity provider, like for example, I don't know if Liquidium is, I don't think they are, but let's say there's another platform that utilizes their widget, Runes DEX will come up as an option. So you guys benefit for the partners that Sats Terminal has that aren't liquidity providers, but they're high traffic websites. You know what I mean? So in this way, it's kind of like it can really build up the snowball effect with the more popular websites in our space to help you guys that are liquidity providers to get more transactions and stuff like that. So I think this is a great cohesive relationship.
Yeah, we think so too.
We could put their terminal right on our website, right? Right on ordinalrevolution.com. And essentially you can,
we could,
right?
yeah.
We could actually do that. And then, but that would help Runes DEX. That would help a lot of the ecosystem and create people come here to read articles and stuff like that. So that's amazing.
That's the concept exactly that I was talking about, though. Yeah. Sorry, Erik. Were you going to say something? I cut you off.
No, I totally agree. You should definitely do that for Ordinals Revolution.
If you want to see something also really cool, so because our thing is a snippet of code, certain devs have actually implemented that in really cool ways. So if you go to there's a rune called Remembering Halfini AI. I can't remember the exact site. Let me find it.
That's the whole name of the rune, Remembering Halfini AI?
Yeah, I might have it wrong. But there's this dev Yuma, and he made it so that it can really go on any site because you can minimize the window and it shows up almost like a little chat as a button. So let me find of course my internet's like really slow right now, but
yes, I think StreamYard will do that. We'll do that to you sometimes. So
gotcha.
I've seen the Sats Terminal thing on plenty Rune project websites too. Like I just posted in the chat, Mackerel Packs has Sats Terminal on the front page.
They have it? Oh yeah, we were talking okay, gotcha. Mackerel Packs has that. I think Newt has it. We're talking to a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, just scroll down.
Oh wow!
I actually love
the
when Mackerel Packs first launched, like when they first etched the rune, I was like, "What the heck is this?" And it was actually cool because it's like it's unique. It's like your Mackerel Packs for when you're in jail.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
And then if you look at the site that I just put in the chat, it's halfin.io. They did something pretty cool. So if you look at the bottom corner, you see Sats Terminal there.
Oh,
they made it so that you could.
So cool.
Yeah.
So you can set it to a default rune, or you could just have it just trade anything. But so it's pretty much, we just want to open up that ability to everyone. And we do want to do fee sharing, but if the volume is low, like it kind of has to get to like a certain threshold for it to be worth doing
Makes sense.
it. So it's like we do want to reward more Amber points to like people who implement it as kind of like a reward. So we're working on that right now.
Gotcha. So really quick, this is my last question for you, Cyclops. Before we get close to, because we're getting close to that hour mark. But you mentioned that like you've been a part of these kind of stages in different ecosystems. Could you talk a little bit about that? Like you said, Cardano and stuff. Like, did Cardano used to trade like tokens, like how Runes trade, and like maybe other environments too? If you could talk a little bit.
Yeah. So that like Cardano is the closest in architecture to Bitcoin, and it was almost exactly like the beginning of the Alonzo hard fork. So at that time, there was only one DEX, which was an order book DEX. And then, unfortunately, what happened was Sunday Swap was that famous launch that didn't go very well.
Yeah.
But it eventually got fixed up with like MinSwap. And so it's in those early days. And like right now, Bitcoin DeFi is really exciting because you're starting to have all these meta protocols pop up to be able to like enable lending like Liquidium. And so as these things start coming up, that's what actually like, because there's so many tricks, because I come from like, I was a degenerate for like DeFi. It's like maximizing like yield for like providing liquidity.
Yeah.
Like we just did all sorts of like disgusting things. And once, things like Ducat come up, where like you can put up your Bitcoin and mint a stable coin based off of that. It allows you to like leverage up money in so many ways to be able to like, because that's basically how ETH and like Solana works, is like you have ETH, then you have like DAI that you can mint on it. You can also get ST ETH based on top of the ETH, and that ST ETH, like for the staked ETH, it's like people still trade that as if it's ETH. And so you're effectively kind of doubling the supply of liquidity. So things just get really gross at that point. And there are people from other ecosystems who will come running to take advantage of that as much as they can. And that's basically what you need to like drive people in.
Gotcha. So you see like a future, like you see the future of like the fungible markets on Bitcoin becoming much more liquid.
Yes. And I think it's going to, like, unlike a lot of other ecosystems, it's like, whether anyone likes it or not, if it's not this cycle, it's going to be a future one, because like you have to have transactions happen on L1. If the mempool is exactly how it is right now, and it keeps doing that for another few more cycles, it's like, then the validators aren't going to be profitable, which can kill the whole network. Like, so it's like they're going to have to force some way into this. And I actually think it's just going to happen. Like, I think once, like, it was just a really bad trading experience before. And like, I think once that just gets solved, it's like people just trade. It's just, we're like in a weird time in the cycle, like before, like everything goes crazy. So like everybody's losing their mind right now, which was exactly 4 years ago. So
we actually hear a lot about Cardano. We're actually partnered with Raul from Fluid Tokens. And everything they're building. So he tells us stories about Cardano and stuff, and it does really remind us of what we're kind of dealing with now and where you guys have been, and hopefully we can get to where you guys are, right? So overall Cardano, what they are, Cardano guys.
And also what's great about our algorithm is, so if it does buy off an order book, because it's UTXOs, the dev is more based around UTXO management. And so that's like hard for people who aren't used to that. But basically, like if you buy through our cells, it's not necessarily the lowest price in an order book that you would get if it routes through an order book marketplace. It's the combinations of the UTXOs to get you the most, because you're paying transactions on every single one. So it's like it's like just a matter of all those things getting worked out.
I think a better way to say is it's the best case scenario.
Yeah,
that's probably the best way to say it.
Minus the fees.
Yeah, minus the fees. But man, This is awesome. Thank you guys both for spending time with us and our community. I definitely think this episode is going to be very educational and give some optimistic outlook to the Bitcoin ecosystem community that's probably been a little bit down, because it sounds like the future looks bright. And so we'd like to give you both kind of a minute or two to kind of have a last word for the community. Maybe you want to say something about Runes DEX and Sat Terminal, but we'll start with you, Erik.
I think it was really a great roundup of Psyclops. Thank you for that. I can only say Runes DEX, we are trying to bring DeFi to Bitcoin. We want to do that through the greatest user experience we can offer, be something like a Uniswap on Bitcoin, right? Replicate the experience, bring the volume, bring the degens. And what makes us stand out, I believe, is that we focus on the communities in the Bitcoin space, no matter the size, and we want to offer the right kind of tools wherever they want to need them, want to use them.
Awesome. Super excited about Runes DEX. And then Psyclops, you're up, sir. Last words for the audience.
Sure. I mean, I think I'm really bullish on Bitcoin assets, and I think it's just a matter of helping make the ecosystem with ease. So it's really fun working on a project like a DEX aggregator, because really your whole goal is just to help everyone out as much as you can, which is kind of the position I like to be in. So for me, it's a privilege to be able to work on this.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you both for being on Ordinal Revolution, and we look forward to having you back on. Doors always open, so let us know if you have any updates. You can jump on the show for sure, and we will talk to you both very soon.
Sure. Thanks.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks.
Bye.
Well, absolutely amazing, man. Absolutely two amazing teams here with Sats Terminal and Runes DEX. Really looking forward to seeing what this partnership can lead to, and potentially getting a swap on Ordinal Revolution. I'm not trying to make any fees off it, but it would be kind of cool to have another place where you guys can just go and swap runes, right? And use the liquidity from .swap, Runes DEX, and so many more places. So, but yeah, it's just a great interview all around. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yep. And I think that probably gives some of you guys some optimism in terms of liquidity for fungibles on Bitcoin, because it looks like it's coming. So be excited about that, because we are. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us for over an hour. We know you guys definitely learned something from these two really smart gentlemen that we had on from Runes DEX and was it Sats Terminal as well. And so if you wouldn't mind checking out our partners, we greatly appreciate that. Emblem Vault's going to be the interoperability tooling for the Bitcoin Layer 1 asset class, more specifically Ordinals. You're going to be able to jump your puppets, your node monks, your quantum cats over to Abstract Chain, to Merlin, Bitcoin Layer 2, to Base, multiple EVMs, and in the future Solana as well. So make sure you're paying attention to them, as well as their AI Bitcoin agent wallet, where you can actually prompt this agent to do the vaulting for you and jumping. So it's going to be super exciting. And then you can learn more about their runes that they have for their TG in September as well at emblem.vision. And BetBTC is the predictions marketplace for the Bitcoin ecosystem. They utilize ICP and Bitcoin technology for you guys to be able to place bets on their marketplace. All you got to do is have an Xverse wallet, some Bitcoin in there, and 6 blocks, and you can start placing bets right away. I'm super excited about the future feature that they're going to be adding, create your own markets, because you're going to be able to earn up to 1.5% on the total volume on the custom markets you create. You can learn more at betbtc.win. BitPerp is the perps and leverage DEX of the Bitcoin ecosystem. They're going to be launching on a Bitcoin Layer 2 very, very soon. They got a big announcement coming up, guys. So make sure you're following these guys. You're going to be able to trade your synthetic runes, possibly BRC20s, as well as tokens outside of the Bitcoin ecosystem that are popular as well, like possibly Trump token, maybe some Pepe coin, some stuff like that. You can learn more at bitperp.io. And Fluid Tokens. These guys are amazing developers, guys, UTXO devs. They started off on Cardano, still there, but they have come over to Bitcoin and built the first retail staking vaults for you guys. So if you are a Ordinal founder of a collection and have an established community, you can reach out to Raul, which is the CTO of Fluid Tokens, to get a staking vault set up for you guys, for your community to start staking your assets and earning. Super exciting stuff. They're also going to be building the bridge and account abstraction tools for Cardano and Bitcoin. So stay tuned to that. You can learn more at fluidtokens.com, and you can click on the Bitcoin logo there to learn more. And then Merlin Chain, your #1 scaling solution for Bitcoin native L1 assets and protocols. If you are a developer on Bitcoin Layer 1 and you want your protocol to be a bit more scalable, you can reach out to Merlin Chain's team to have it on Bitcoin Layer 2 there. They have builder grants that you can apply for. A couple of our partners got into that program, so it's not impossible. Just got to apply. It doesn't hurt to try. If you are a retail user, you can utilize Merlin Swap to trade for Doggo to the Moon runes over at merlinswap.org. You can utilize your Rep Bitcoin or Merlin token to swap for Dog today. You can learn more about Merlin Chain at merlinchain.io. And don't forget about our integrated partners in Foxy, building the first-person shooter game called Clan Wars, which we stream every Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern. Everybody's invited. All you need is a Bitcoin wallet to play. And they have their Bitverse worlds that they're going to be rolling out, custom world creator tools and stuff like that. Super exciting stuff. And don't forget about Ordinal Hive, the aggregator Ordinal marketplace for Bitcoin Layer 1 and Layer 2, cheapest Ordinals around. And they also have amazing trader tools like live mempool activity, which you can try to snipe some cheap stuff that was listed cheap on accident. You can utilize their tools. They have other tools there as well. So we thank you guys so much for checking out our partners.
Yeah, man. Great job, man, as always. And if you guys wouldn't mind checking out ordinalrevolution.com, we have some of the best articles dating all the way back to last year. If you know someone just entering a space, please send them our website. We really feel you can help them get started and code up to where we are today. If you guys need a VPN, we have the #1 VPN here. That's NordVPN. Don't be going to websites with your IP hanging out. No one wants to see that. You guys shouldn't really, you should always mask your IP. There's no reason to give people your address. We have privacy here in the US. You should definitely try to use it the best you can. It is not illegal to have a VPN. Everyone should have it. If you guys are going to Vegas, I got Bitcoin 2025. It's going to be absolutely exciting and nuts, guys. But do not wait till May to get your tickets. Get them as soon as possible. It seems like every Friday they go up in price. Don't wait till May. Get them today. Use our website here. And if you guys need merch for that event or any event, we know ETH Denver's coming up and you can probably still get it. Have time to get some merch. But check out ordinalrevolution.com. It's our Shopify third party. We don't really see anything besides we give them the stuff. We give them the logos and stuff like that. So check out everything here at ordinalrevolution.com. And guys, we are live Monday to Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 4 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys, and until tomorrow.
Peace.
Ordinal Revolution. Let's go.